present. Members are present with the exception of Commissioner Cantrell, who's stuck in traffic on these roads. All our legal notices have been duly posted and the court is duly called. Is there a motion to open court?
So moved.
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Will the bailiff please open court?
All right. The Dallas County Commissioner Court is now in session for December 2013 term with the Honorable Judge Jenkins presiding. Please remain standing for the invocation.
And their invocation today will be given by Caster Commissioner Daniels.
Thank you very much. This morning, regretfully, the Reverend Tom Richardson that we had planned on coming is not going to be here. But we have an incredible talent among people who are here. And so I'm going to ask Mr. Stanley Victor to come forward. And of the many talents that a lot of our staff people have, he not only is very capable of opening up this session, but he's also other kinds of skills and talents, and a great athlete in high school and college. And I guess it was the hammer that you drew, which is all those skills and talents that our people have. So if you'd be so good as to open this session, it'd be very much appreciated.
Let me first read and then go back to pray. My son, forget not my law, from chapter 3 of Proverbs. My son, forget not my law, but let thine heart keep my commandments. For length of days and long life and peace shall they add to thee. Let not mercy and truth forsake thee. Bind them about thy neck. Write them on the table of thine heart. So shalt thou find favor and good understanding in the sight of God and man. Trust in the Lord with all of your heart. Lean not unto your own understanding. In all your ways acknowledge him, and he shall direct thy paths. Be not wise in thine own eyes. Fear the Lord and depart from evil. It shall be health to thy neighbor and marrow to thy bones. God bless you. Let us pray. Father, in the name of Jesus Christ, we thank you for this day. About the day that you've made. God, we're determined to first rejoice and be glad in this day. And Father God, we thank you for this Commissioner's Court, for Commissioner Jenkins, Judge Jenkins, Commissioner Dr. Daniels, Commissioner Mike Cantrell, Commissioner Molly Price, and Commissioner Dr. Garcia. God, they've taken the time, oh God, to ask you to seek your face, of God, as far as your wisdom, oh God, for this hour. Faced with so many decisions, so many choices, oh God, and sometimes so few resources. Father, we ask that you give them the wisdom of Solomon, oh God, and God, the courage of Deborah. God, we ask that you continue to bless them, oh God, so that they might be able to make the right choices and do those things that will typically continue to move this community forward in the name of Christ. Thank you, Father, for giving them courage and wisdom, oh God, and understanding and discernment, oh God, for the hour. And God, help them to dwell together in the spirit of unity. God, that they might be able to be a pattern and an example, oh God, for the other people in our community as well. God, we ask you to continue to bless each and every department head, oh God, the elected officials here for Dallas County. That God, through the commissioner's example, oh God, that we might be able to come together as one, to do those things that are well pleasing in your sight. And God, not only basically having listened to the ear for, give an ear to the people that have, but oh God, basically give voice to those ones that have not. Thank you, God, that we might also do our work with not only diligence, but God, to be able to do it with your example, and for example of excellence. And let it be so, Father. Bless them, bless their families, oh God. And now, even now, bless them as they deliberate one with the other, oh God, over the agenda that's been set before them. And let it be so. In your precious name we pray. Amen.
Amen. Thank you.
Major, I've got to say this. A major in the Marine Corps, Grover Hammer, minister, mathematical genius. I'm going to enroll you in the John Wiley Christ School of Projection. I know I have problems with my ear. I don't know how you made it through the Marine Corps as a major. And is that where you left your voice?
Yes, sir. It's through God's grace. So I just need to do the microphone.
Yeah,
Multi-talented. Thank you for all that you do for IT also.
I didn't know you have a school of leadership.
Yeah.
No, school of projection.
Oh, school projection.
I think we take judicial notice that Commissioner Price has a loud voice. All right, and speaking of Commissioner Price, we've got here is Commissioner Cantrell, and safe from the roads. And we've got one resolution today, and it is from Commissioner Price.
That's what happens out of 635, and then you got the right district and commissioner district out there. All the roads are in good shape.
I ran this last year.
Hopefully Patricia Wilson did, Pat Wilson make it this morning? Oh, come on up, Pat. Now that the delegation want to come on up. Come on, that's right, come on. You got to the lectern right there? Right there? Right there.
School of projection.
Yeah, school of projection. Delegation, okay. They all came out of district, they had good roads. They could make it.
Can you give me more money? I can do more work.
More projection.
There you go. Whereas the Dallas County Commissioners Court takes special notice where an individual has given long and faithful service to Dallas County, whereas Patricia A. Wilson was born into a large family, one of 17 children in Paris, Texas. Yes. I say Paris? I say Paris. Okay, Paris, Texas. And was the first in her family to graduate high school from James Madison in Dallas, Texas. And whereas having worked continuously for 46 years after graduating, Pat will be retiring for the second time during her career. She retired after 21 years with Cigna Insurance, then worked 7 years with the Dallas Arboretum, and will now retire December 13, 2013, after 10 years of diligent service to Dallas County. And whereas Pat joined Dallas County on November 15, 2003 as a temp and stayed with the County Clerk's Truancy Division as a court clerk, where she is currently employed. And whereas Pat is known for her reliability and ability to work with parents and youth alike, and has helped to shape the lives of our future to achieve their goals, whereas Pat is looking forward to spending time with her family, singing at her church in the inspirational choir, and serving the community through volunteer work with senior citizens. Now, therefore, be it resolved that the Dallas County Commissioners Court does hereby recognize and extend sincere appreciation to Patricia A. Wilson for 10 years of faithful service, and further expresses best wishes for her retirement and upcoming 65th birthday. And I so move.
Second.
Those in favor?
Mr. Moore?
Thank you, Commissioner Price, Judge Jenkins, Commissioners. Pat has been wonderful for our office. I wish I could take responsibility and honor her employment because she was here before I got to the county clerk's office. But the resolution you read is exactly on point. Pat has worked with our truancy staff. She's been a grandmother to the students in school. She's been a mother to the parents that she's had to deal with. More so than anyone else, she's kept them on track to help them realize the seriousness of the situation that they've been in, and to help them reinvest and regain an interest in their future. So she's been an asset to my office as well as to Dallas County.
I see she brought a couple. A couple of judges along
right.
with her. Judge Brown, Judge Rayford, Judge Mr. Brown.
Good morning to everyone. Commissioner Cantrell was very instrumental, as all of the commissioners at that time, in opening up the truancy courts for for the City of Dallas through a joint relation with the City of Dallas and Dallas County. Pat was one of the new clerks that started in the office. But what's important about Pat is that she was dedicated. She has remained dedicated, and it's her love for the children that made a difference in the office. Pat brought a spiritual side to the office. God really guided her in everything that she did in the office, which carried over to how the children were handled in the office. And Pat, I'm happy for you. You have truly been a blessing to Dallas County, and you will be missed. But it's time for you to have fun and enjoy the rest of your service with your family. Congratulations.
Judge Rayford?
Good morning, everyone. Ms. Pat has been looking forward to this day for quite a while, and I've been regretting this day for quite a while because that was going to be tough to replace her. So I hope Mr. Warren is prepared to conduct a nationwide search to replace Ms. Pat. Thank you.
Ms. Pat? It's on you.
I'm looking forward for this day, not as long as Judge Rayford says I have, but I have. And I thank God for saving me. I think there becomes a time when everyone needs to look forward to a life for themselves. And for 46 years, I have worked, and I'm very proud of my work. I thank God that He kept me and brought me where I am.
You want to introduce those people who are?
Oh, yeah. John, I want to let you know that I've known you since before you started, when you was over on H Street. Just dear, yes. So from the beginning. But I've enjoyed every moment of it. I hope that truancy continues. You can't save everybody, but everyone is a blessing. And I've done my best.
Well, I want to say thank you, and then I'll let you introduce them, but thank you for all the hard work that you put in, because that is not an easy place to work at all. And it's very trying and taxing, and not everybody can do that. So it is a calling, and I appreciate you and all the others that do the work at that office. And you're going to be missed, and we appreciate everything that you've done. Thank you.
Well, Judge Rayford wanted me to stay part-time with him, but his salary wasn't sufficient. Not even for part-time. But with me this morning, I have my husband, a couple of my sisters, my daughter, my husband, Willie Watts, my sister, Deborah Lewis, and her husband, Henry, Edith Pace, and her husband, Chester, my daughter, Lucretia, and her fiance, James, and my staff back here. I'm glad to say, not my staff. That's what they know. They just give it that. But my co-workers, okay. I got it in that last. But for Miss Emily, I appreciate everything you've done and been there for me, and thank you. And Priscilla, and my home girl, Sonia, and my supervisor. Ms. Falk is she's awesome. Deborah Ferguson. We've all worked together since they've been there. Okay, and I really appreciate it. I think truancy is a good thing, because we wouldn't have the schools that we have now if we didn't have truancy that helped guys. It's like God guide us, they need somebody to guide them.
Well, I want to again take Ms. Pat one more privilege and just say again thank you on the day that we honor Comrade President Nelson Mandela, as we understand all the other freedom fighters who understood that where children are in our future. There's a new piece out of the New York Times that talks about a fragile future. And I think we take for granted so many things. I think the articles talks about, just in New York City alone, 22,000 children are homeless. and it talks about the fragility of the future. Our juvenile department a few years ago adopted from another liberator, emancipated Frederick Douglass, and he said that it's a lot easier to repair broken children than it is to try to mend grown adults. And so I thank you for all your energy and effort. There's nothing you can do better than what we do for the children. One of the things that article talks about is this whole thing of education. And I've had some concerns for years in terms of whether you deal with vouchers or charters or however you do it, public education. In this country, I think that was Tom Friedman's article, is slipping. It's slipping. 7,000 young people a day drop out. A day. 7,000. And so I just want to thank you on behalf of this community and our future. Just thank you for what you do. I know you're not going to be able to retire for long. And even though Judge Wayne will work with him and take some of his salary and see if he can but thank you so much for what you do.
I just also wanted to say, having worked in public education for a number of years and seeing what happens on the school district side of trying to address the multitude of issues that young folks have in today's world. And I'm just pleased, I'm sorry I didn't get a longer time to work with you, but seeing the partners that exist across Dallas County to make it possible for more kids to grow, to show the promise and to fulfill the promise that they should have, and to see all the people that we have supporting our kids in a lot of different ways. And it really means an awful lot to someone who struggled on one side to see that, yes, in fact, there are a lot of us working together to see those kinds of good ends. So thank you very much for highlighting this opportunity for us to see the strength in the people who do work for Dallas County and work for the good of Dallas County. So you say that you're looking forward to having fun, and I'm a little disappointed you didn't have fun in your job over here. But I am sure that all of those behind you will make sure that they can. First of all, they get somebody else who's going to have some fun in their job afterwards, but please enjoy it. And thank you for what you've done and what you're going to do, I'm sure.
Congratulations, Ms. Lucia. On that note, George, I want to recognize Dr. Perez. I know he's here. Dr. Perez is just got the Youth Services Advisory Board approved the nomination for him to serve, as well as the Juvenile Board number 27. So Dr. Perez also has been a great advocate for children in the juvenile system. So thank you, Dr. Perez.
Thank you, Dr. Garcia. Commissioners, thank you very much for this opportunity to serve our community.
I appreciate it, Doctor. Thank you for being here with us today.
And the next item on our agenda is our consent agenda. Any discussion? All those in favor? Aye. Happy birthday and enjoy retirement.
Thank you.
And our next item is court orders 1 through 10. Is there a motion on court orders 1 through 10?
I this is a section of Article 2 that I will be voting
I'll second, and the comment on item 3 is that is temporary. It is within policy, And the word reads that it is a policy that we call it plan and it is temporary. The you're going to explain that. I saw that jargon at the end of the day. What?
So the sheriff's office is also here, who may be willing to or wanting to speak on this, but this is the Social Security Administration officers that do the investigations that are referred to by the Social Security Administration. So the statistics that I sent you yesterday were related to the number of investigations that were referred to them, the number of investigations that they opened, they closed, and the amount of Social Security benefits that had actually been cut off. That's where the Social Security benefit dollar came from. And then during those investigations, there's other benefits that come from other programs that also get sometimes cut off. And so there's where the other dollars came from.
So this program is basically netted to the benefit of the community over a span, if I remember correctly. Was it how many millions? Mr. Thomas, you got those numbers?
Yes, sir.
Sheriff James Clinton. Come on. Because it's, I mean, we've been had this going on because we've been percolating out there for years, so I'm trying to figure out what is going on to this.
Okay, Commissioner, this is, the Social Security is a total reimbursement contract. They really reimburse 100% of the expenses that the 4 officers and 1 clerk that's out there that cover salaries, benefits, also pay for car gasoline that's required. There is an 8% indirect cost that comes with that contract. It's a $385,000 contract a year, which is a 5-year contract. It expires in 2015. And the court order that we have now is actually for the other half of the year funding. They only gave us 6 months worth of funding because of September 30 being their year end. Okay. And what we have now is a court order for the remaining 6 months, which will take us all the way through the end of March. So this is really just a funding.
Okay. Let me ask, with regards to the quote sequester, is it impacting here at all, or do we even know? Does anybody know?
It hasn't impacted as of this point. It did delay our funding.
Okay.
But we got the exact amount that we had in the original contract.
Okay. And this is what year? This is our fourth year?
Fourth year of 5 years.
4th year of this 5-year contract,
Yeah,
which we've
this
been doing
5
it for almost 10 years.
Right, exactly. But then the $26 million, if I remember correctly, is that the number I remember? What?
Yeah, total savings so far for 2013 was $27.9 million, which is $16 million in Social Security benefits and $11.7 million in non-Social Security benefits.
The number of cases, and thank you for the information, Mr. Brown, really, give a baseline. But the number of cases has continued to grow in other years more than this last year, correct? However, the number of...
In 2009, there was 430 referrals with 229 cases open. So far this year, there's been 217 cases. They did expand the program from the first 5 years funding. So that's why you see it increase from the first 5 years to the second 5 years.
Well, I think two things were key for me, and the reason I asked for it, we just kept putting it on. First of all, we did not have a report on it.
Okay. This is the first time I've seen the status. I know that they were keeping it because they're required to provide those to the Social Security Administration. And so it is something that I know that they probably were providing to the auditor's office, but it just never got to them.
Okay, that's number one. Number two, but I want to make sure we get full reimbursement on $385,000 plus all the incident. And then we got 8%, that goes where? To the
General fund.
That goes into the general fund as a revenue.
Okay, I'll make sure. And
It's also noteworthy too, that this is one program that shows the cooperation among the different various levels of government for, it looks like, the benefit of taxpayers across the board. So it seems like a good idea.
so fourth or fifth year, $385,000, 8%. Okay. That was pretty much it. I wanted to see exactly what's going on.
And Commissioner, they have been recognized as one of the top groups across the country.
Okay, those are my,
So
those.
your concern, Mr. Price, was mainly that we haven't had a report?
Well, we hadn't had a report. No, we haven't had it. We just have been just cursorily passing it on. And I kept looking. I knew we were, and I thought we were getting reimbursed, but I wanted to make sure
It was
that
100%.
we were 100%, we were getting reimbursed, and what was going on in the program. You know, we get these programs, and it's nice to say, oh, well, we got these programs, we got cooperation. What are they doing? What are they netting? This is the first report that we've had. They talked about, you know, if it's netted $26 million this year, well, what has it done? It's done well. So,
Yeah, very well. Congratulations, Sheriff.
okay. That was it. So that's, and nobody's commented, but Dr. Taylor, that I believe does need policy.
Yes.
Yeah.
No, that's always like what
Right. I got it. I want to make sure that it's put together. Okay. Yeah.
Any other comments on court orders 1 through 10? And then I'll call the question. All those in favor?
Okay, we have to pull on I-3,
Oh, I'm sorry.
I'll second.
All right, all those in favor?
All those opposed?
All those opposed?
No.
Any opposed?
Commissioner Panther, moved it.
Second.
Commissioner Panther,
Push buttons and we got it. All right. And that takes us to our time-sensitive court order, J1. Is there a motion on J1?
Second.
Any discussion on J1? Hearing none, we go to vote. All those in favor? Aye. Any opposed? Motion carries unanimously. That takes us to our evening session. Mr. Martin, would you please take us to our evening session?
Good morning, Judge, Commissioners. Item K, a brief session. If I could, I'd like to jump down to County Judge item number 3, Employee of the Month award winners. For the month of November, award winners, if they're here, I'd like to please stand. For the Auditor's Office, we have Mr. Brian Stevens. Facilities, Pete Terrell. Health and Human Services, Candy Berry. IT, Shrihari Sadad. Juvenile, Marilyn Johnson. Sheriff North Tower, Christopher Johnson. Sheriff Special Investigation, Lieutenant Stephen Womack. Risk Crime Lab, Courtney Ferreira. Tax Office, Betty Hammett. And for the December award winners, we have from the Auditor's Office, Leo Anasco. Health and Human Services, Sandra Battles. Sheriff Traffic, Mayo Loza. Swiss Crime Lab, Coty Nicoy. And from the Tax Office, Stephen Gonzalez. Be here, please stand.
Congratulations.
Yeah, you do realize that we cannot do anything without you. You need us, but we also need you, so thank you for your efforts.
And next week, we will have our final reception for our award winners, and we'll announce the winner of the year. That will start at 8:30 next Tuesday.
Next Tuesday at 8:30.
We'll have a continental breakfast and breakfast.
Are they all going to be invited, Mr. Martin?
I believe it's Captain. 7:30 is the breakfast. 8:30 we'll start the meeting
Any
and announce
special
the
prize for the winner?
Yes, we do. What's the special prize, Ms. Captain?
They get a day off work.
Day off of work.
For work.
With eyes or without eyes?
Yes, they wear their good face. Thank you to all the award winners, and we'll see you next week.
Go ahead.
Budget item 1, District Attorney Community Prosecution Unit, authorize the addition of one Director of Community Relations, be part of the District Attorney's Office of Community Prosecution Unit.
Where is that funded?
The funding for that comes from the MOU program, that $50 that come into the DA's office. There's about a little over $2 million currently in that fund. It's because it grew for many years before the unit started. So it's actually one of those where it will start drawing down over the next couple of years.
Well, explain that.
Somebody got to explain something to me. I mean, I got a fund over there with almost $3 million in it.
It is the DA's MOU.
Yeah. But how?
I thought that was supposed to come back into the general fund as part of
We do get budget. In fact, we get dollars back in the general fund as reimbursement for the efforts that are put forth to the developing the MOUs. But it is still additional dollars that are created from that we cannot.
Right, but the MOUs means that was a lack of fines and costs that come into our system.
Yes, it does.
Historically, we used.
Absolutely.
So it's a negative impact to
the creation of the program did have a negative impact to the general fund.
I got $3 million. Okay, I'm gonna give this to
Your Honor, it's 2.2 million at this point.
It's 2.9, 2.7.
It's about 2.2 because there's a drawdown for this current year for the staff of the community prosecution unit, which are funded out of that fund. These monies been accumulated over a period of 5 years. Whenever we started that program 5 years ago, the purpose of the funds are used to help prevent crime, and this is where the community prosecution unit was developed. This unit, we have 5 attorneys and 1 investigator. We've determined that we needed a program administrator, and the position that's being requested today. And it would be funded out of this fund for the entire unit. I projected over a 5-year, it would be fully funded out of the MOU funds at a minimum.
Well, I guess what else is it's MOU? What else is funded out of?
Well, we also make an annual contribution to the general fund for the an amount that's determined that is used to generate these funds from the misdemeanor courts.
It's a reimbursement for the attorney time and the clerical time to producing the MOUs. And so we are allowed to be able to bring back into the general fund the revenue related for the reimbursement, but like everything else, we cannot make money on that. We can only do a cost recovery.
Okay.
So the cost recovery is
yes. So that part of it comes back to the general fund and is expended by the general fund. The remaining amount of money is clearly within the discretion of the DA's office on how they want to spend it. There are many different things they could expend it on, but this is what they've chosen to do.
And I'm very glad that they chose to do it.
Yeah, but the court did the court enter into that?
The court approved the program in the sense that they approved the positions. That is where the court's approval is. But that's about as far as the court's approval is necessary. That the rest of it is within the discretion of the DA's office.
Right, and this is discretion to use it in the community prosecution unit, which I am delighted to hear, because I have to tell you, it's probably one of the best units I ever had the opportunity to work. I do a lot of community events, and I have to say that Rachel Jones, Hank Vasquez, all the team per se, from churches, crime watches, neighborhood associations, you name it, I see them all there, and I know that they're overwhelmed with the amount of events that they do, and they've done a fantastic job as well, with the annual unit. So
I'm still saying that what happens though with these dogs, these are dogs of tradition would come into the general fund.
Absent the MOU program, these individuals would have been convicted of a misdemeanor, and there would have been fines and court costs that would have come to the general fund through that manner, plus dollars sent to the state. Because of the way the program is developed, the MOU program, these individuals do not end up with a conviction, therefore those dollars go in. Instead, they pay an administrative fee, which goes into this escrow, which then falls into that. There was an agreement back when we first did the MOU where the DA was going to provide us more money than they were ultimately able to, because when we looked at it back, we said we could only reimburse for the actual effort of the program, and so that's what we get.
That's a lot of double talk, but at the end of the day, we're paying for that. This is money that would have come into the program.
Correct.
And I agree. I agree with you. We call it want is deferred adjudication. I got that. I'm with that. The problem is that, again, this is money that the $3 million and $2.2 million is not.
Well, it also takes that purview of the Commissioner's Court to administer the money and gives it to the DA to administer the money as he fit. Do we have any statistics, and Rachel has done a fantastic job, and I'll be the first to admit that, but this additional person that you're asking to hire, I haven't seen any reports on success of any of the programs. I haven't seen the benefit of the programs. Commissioner, you may have, but I haven't seen,
Some of them,
I haven't seen
programs
any
that
of the reports.
Well, you see the value or whatever y'all call it. Yeah. I'm talking about that.
Who's paying for that? I mean, it's this unit paying for it?
The animal program is paid for out of the general fund.
Yes. Animals, but I thought the animal.
It's not part of the community prosecution.
Oh, it's not part of it. Okay.
Right, but see,
So we pay. So we pay.
Yeah, so it's not this unit that's paying for it.
No.
So the question is, when will we get some type of, do you have reports that show the success of the program and that shows the extent of the program? In other words, I really haven't seen any of that.
Let me ask Rachel Jones to prepare for you.
Well, I'm asking if there's something already in existence that you can just send to.
Not that I've seen.
No, not that I've seen, because how do you report a negative? How do you report what hasn't?
Well, it's not a negative if you have so many people that are going through the program.
But could you come with Mr. Monroe, the amount of events, the amount of
Yes.
education programs
Yes.
that you have, in the community prosecution?
Yes.
The program does something.
Yes.
Yes, it does.
There is.
Yeah, well, but we're asking for a manager position.
Right.
And another question, well, I just want to see what it encompasses, because do we really need attorneys out there going to schools and talking about what's going on? Do you have to have attorneys do that? Or can you have non-attorneys do that? In other words, we're paying, what does an attorney bill make right now?
But you don't have any attorney force in that particular section. You
They're all
have
135.
135. You have 135, and you have
And-
32s.
Okay, so what's the
32s, 35 is 99,000 a year. Just have something that makes you very happy. You're raising your it's all right.
I'm for you guys on this.
Okay.
I'm for community prosecutor program.
I don't think anybody's opposed to
No,
that. We're just trying to get,
It's like a social security. I mean, just do programs and somebody asks you, you don't know what it's doing.
what are the attorney fees making?
The attorney twos, I believe it's 54,000 for attorney one, and it's 59,000 for, I think it's 59,000 for the attorney two. And then the investigator, it's an investigator one, that is at the lowest level of the investigators. I want to say it's 48, 53,000, somewhere in that range. I don't know the exact number.
So it says 2.2 million that's accumulated in that account. Is that just going to continue to accumulate? I mean, are we going to use it all on staffing?
You remember the first 3 or 4 years, there was really no dollars being expended other than the reimbursement back to the general fund. And then they came up with this community cert program, and that's when they actually started expending those dollars. It is now to a point where the expenditures are slightly greater than the amount of money coming in, so there will be a slow drawdown of these funds. But it's nothing that in the immediate future we're worried about not having adequate funds. We're talking at least 5-6 years before we would have a drawdown that would get us to a negative point.
And we're talking about this person is going to schedule the events at schools and the different service clubs,
Yes.
speeches, and things like that.
It's to manage the entire program.
So I just need to see what the entire program
It's a
is.
grade one.
It hasn't been graded
It
yet.
hasn't been graded yet. It'll be graded.
Yeah, in fact,
Proposed as a grade acres. Proposed as a grade acres.
yeah, don't see that one. It's a manager, so it's a great age.
Great age.
Which is what Dr. Taylor.
Grade age, probably high 50s, I'd say about 58.
But I just like to see the scope of the program.
Sure.
That'd be helpful, thank you.
And sure, how you evaluate the program.
I'll get that to you. Okay.
Thank you, Mr. Monroe. In the meantime, I'm delighted to see the way the district attorney's office, continues to do a great job with the community prosecution project.
Thank you. Appreciate it.
This is on for briefing, so we'll get that information to you before we bring the court on the back.
Thank you.
Item 2, Office of Budget Evaluation, recommend approval of the addition of the language of the 2 DDA policy to purchase of flowers for retirement, sympathy, and get well for employees.
And I would like a baseline about this. Definitely, and thank you, Mr. Brown, for sending me the information about the DDA. I did have an opportunity to read it last night, and we do a lot of, acknowledges to our employees, cards, et cetera. I would like to have, if we're going to put this, just to have a baseline. I feel uneasy making a business decision, but I don't know usually how many flowers we'll be sending.
Well,
And,
of course, the baseline will be difficult because it currently is not allowed by policy. Nobody was getting reimbursed for flowers. We did have one or two that came through, and we did them as exceptions to the policy. And I got to the point where if you're going to approve something as an exception, then we ought to just change the policy so that it becomes part of the policy. I have 2 more requests sitting on my desk to be reimbursed for flowers that were sent to somebody who had surgery and somebody whose family member passed away. So we anticipate this would be flowers only to a Dallas County employee for those different events that would warrant it.
Are you asking for a cap, in other words?
We can certainly cap it. $150, $100.
yeah, I mean, I don't know exactly how much money there's in this one. And,
Well, each department has their own amount, and I anticipate some departments will say, I'm not going to use this to pay for flowers. I mean, that's going to be
it's going
departmental
to be
discretion.
discretionary, as it says here. However, when you have 6,703 employees, I would like to have some kind of baseline to know sympathy, retirement, get well. I don't know, the line becomes blurred in my head when I think about this, and obviously with taxpayers' money. When this fund really was created for improved management and taxpayer savings, it gives me a little bit of heartburn.
It'd be just as, if it's the will of the court, we can then continue the policy where it's not allowed, and then I can just go back to these 2 individuals and say, I'm not going to be briefing it because we're not allowed.
It's still a policy decision.
It's still a policy decision. We go either way. It's just that I don't want to be bringing them forward as exceptions and then having them get approved on a routine basis.
I agree with Ryan's proposal here. Keep in mind how this DDA money comes about. We have someone who saves the taxpayers' money by deleting a position. We get half the money back from the general budget. They get half in the DDA account. I'm not worried about a constable saying, I want to send $1,000 flower arrangement to my clerks, because their mother died. And folks are going to be reasonable to this. If we wanted to put a dollar amount, if they wanted to, in lieu of flowers, send $50 to the Cancer Society if somebody dies of cancer.
That wouldn't be allowed. This would be strictly flowers.
Well, what would be wrong with letting them send $50 to the church?
That would be a different policy. We would have to.
I'd be for that too.
I would like to see.
I'd be okay for the flowers, but just like on bills, there's a limit. And I think there ought to be a limit on flowers.
I agree.
I think $100 should be the max.
And I'd like to see us be able to give to flowers or the charity of their choice. A lot of people prefer you to give to their mother's church or to the Cancer Society in lieu of flowers.
Okay, let me suggest that we
Not
change the
any
policy to
charity.
allow flowers with a reimbursement cap at $100. I need to go look at IRS rules as it relates to the charitable contribution, because this is done as a reimbursement to an employee. So I would put a $50 contribution to a cancer society. The Dallas County be reimbursing me, and then I get to declare that as an IRS deduction. And so I need to make sure, I just need to look at that one a little bit closer. The flowers are easy.
And then we could tell them not to declare it as a deduction, but there are people for religious reasons who prefer that you not send flowers. They prefer that you
But
give
the whole thing, bottom line, it's a policy decision of whether your personal feelings towards an employee or their family should be funded by the county. And in my way of thinking, that is a personal decision. So why are county funds, taxpayer funds, being used for what is your personal decision.
Correct. I totally agree with that.
So I'm not sure, when you get into the details of what's IRS sanctioned, what's this and that and the other, I think bottom line, you're still looking at the confusion of personal wishes and county income funds.
Right, and I'm sure that our taxpayers will be happy to know that we charge people and we care about people in their time of need. However, I don't know, like the judge said, that we're working on the flowers and that taxpayers will appreciate that that flower arrangement comes from your own money.
Our policies work well for many years.
And again, it's a policy decision. Will you give us a little bit more background?
If you'll give us the additional information, that will help us make that decision, but thank you.
We'll explore, and then Mr. Brown will get additional information to you before we bring this forward. Item 4, Court Administration recommends approval to file a 5-year extension to the current contract with Ryan Barber, Robert, Blair, and Sampson for collection of delinquent taxes. Governmental Affairs, item 5, file a tax certificate certifying the completion of continuing education requirements for Dr. Elba Garcia. Health and Human Services, item 6, approve the acceptance of the TXU Energy Aid disbursement of $182,000 from TXU Energy for utility payment assistance to financial distressed TXU Energy customers. Item 7, memorandum of agreement with Dallas Medical Care Services. Approve the MOA with Dallas Medical Care Services. Item 8, Human Resources. Approve the HIPAA exemption election renewal document. Item 9, IT. Approve the proposed purchase of 4 F5 BIG-IP load balancers, related hardware and services from the BIR vendor FutureCom. Funding for this request is available from MTF unallocated reserves. Item 10, MS SharePoint Assistance. Approve the proposal with Mach B for MS SharePoint Assistance for a total of $59,000 with funding available in the Major Technology Fund unallocated reserves. Juvenile, we have a number of items. All of these items were approved by the Juvenile Board, so I'll go through these. Item 11, approve the Youth Service Advisory Boards and the Dallas County Juvenile Board's recommendation of Juror funds for fiscal year 2014. Item 12, approve the Dallas County Juvenile Board recommendation to authorize and approve the execution of Amendment 15 to the State Financial Assistance Contract for 2012-2013 biennium with the Texas Juvenile Justice Department. Item 13, approve the Dallas County Juvenile Department's request to ratify professional services contract with Jewish Family Services of Greater Dallas. Item 14, approve the request of Dallas County Juvenile Department to enter into contract with Gulf Coast Trade Centers for a period of October 1 through September 30, 2014. Item 15, approve the MOU between Rainbow Days Inc. and Academy for Academic Excellence and to authorize the chairman to sign any related documents on behalf of the school board. Item 16, approve the memorandum of understanding between JJADP and Phoenix House. Further recommend the chairman of the Dallas County Juvenile Board be authorized to sign related documents on behalf of the Juvenile Board. Item 17, approve the service learning program agreements between the University of Texas at Arlington and the Juvenile Justice Alternative Education Program. Item 18, approve the service learning program agreement between the University of Texas at Arlington and the Academy for Academic Excellence. Item 19, approve the Academy for Academic Excellence Dallas County Juvenile Facility Statement of Agreement. Item 20, approve the MOU between the Styles and Music Mentoring Program and the Academy for Academic Excellence Charter School, and recommend that the chairman be allowed to sign any related documents on behalf of the board. Item 21, Public Works, accept the offer from Next Stocks Now LLC to purchase a vacant tax foreclosure property at 1205 Glen Haven Avenue in Hutchins, Texas, and authorize the sale by property quick claim deed. Purchasing item 22.
Yes, I went through all of the next lots and everything pretty innocent now.
Purchasing item 22, authorize the final 12-month extension of bid for the annual contract for the purchase of shrink wrap and woolite packs with Interline brands, effective December 6, 2013 through December 5, 2014. Item 23, authorize the temporary extension of RFP for temporary personnel services as awarded to all Temps 1 personnel and Chartwell Staffing Solutions for the period not to exceed February 28, 2014. Item 24, authorize the fulfillment of insurance requirement 3.3 labor and materials bond corresponding letter from awarded vendor Associated Packaging and Manufacturing, PFM Packaging Machinery Corp. Tax Assessor Collector, item 25, authorize the Dallas County Tax Assessor Collector to enter into a contract with the City of Duncanville for the participation in the Dallas County Scottsdale program.
Good work, Mr. Andrews.
Judge, that concludes your briefing agenda. If there are no questions or miscellaneous information, we have no speakers listed today.
That is disappointing, but.
One more thing, on the brief and the jail medical modification project, Ms. Brown, I got your memo with all the information. You're confident that we're going in the right direction, that the changes that we have done have been the right changes, and the project manager is working well?
Yes, ma'am. We definitely agree that the project is, unfortunately, did have some hiccups in the beginning, but is now on track. And as I mentioned to our chamber, is very excited about the project. And we're looking forward to utilizing the first round of space in January and then moving towards the completion of the actual inmate spaces later in 2001.
We're going to walk that project tomorrow. The medical mile project, and we think we are all except one piece substantially compliant, except in one area. We look forward to January, Parkland moving into the pharmaceutical area, which is very important. It's been a real challenge and a real task, and I really want to thank Shannon Brown in purchasing. There's been a lot of, we can talk about that Monday morning meeting and quarterbacking, but there's been a lot of on the ground walking and pulling and tugging, even though we do have a at-risk management place in Parkland. Staff has been.
How many purses did that cost, Shannon?
It's the shoe leather that I think that walking that basement area. But I just want to say thank you, and we look forward to the checkout list tomorrow as we walk through the project. So, and Judge, in addition to that, I want to thank HR and Mr. Thompson as we embark upon the 23rd Kwanzaa Fest this coming weekend. We now have probably distributed more than 4,000 tickets for that event. As you know, the last several years, last 5 years, we've done about 175,000 screenings at about probably about $4 million savings to the community. What we have come to discover is that this has become kind of an annual medical home for a number of individuals. When you talk about the fact that a kidney screening in Dallas County costs you about $1,200. I don't know what that means in terms of your medical copay, but $1,200. And at this particular event, you get a chance to get it free. When you talk about the FDI collaborative that Health and Human Services puts on with not only with all of the communicable diseases, the number of immunizations, they provide a real service. And when you look at all of our hospitals that come into the area, the Baylor, Texas Health Resources of the world, Parkland, Methodist, everything from prostate screenings to mammograms. The benefit and the value to this community is enormous. And so on behalf of the District 3 Public Health Advisory Committee, the Kwanzaa Fest Committee, I want to thank Dallas County for continuing to understand and embrace it. The tickets we've been run on this morning, they started calling about 6 o'clock, so I'm sending them all over to HR. That's the distribution point for anyone who wants tickets. But it is a free event, Saturday and Sunday, and you can go online to find out what it provides. This year we'll also be trying to help people navigate and understand, at least, the affordable health care, options out there. And I still continue to go back the day after filing with Darlene Ewing I think I tell that story more than any place. The fact that she had a pre-existing condition, which I guess obesity is, and that she had been relegated to the state bar pool at $1,400 a month to get insurance. And as a result of having signed up, she now gets those services for $500 a month. And as she said, she can afford it. I talked about the homeless children in New York City. I'd love to know what those numbers look like in Dallas. But we know in terms of the zip code where the automobile building, Fair Park is located, we understand on all the CDC numbers that it's one of the most highly impacted in terms of underserved medical services in the community. Am I correct? Correct. And so all of our grants, one of the reasons we get this collaborative is all of our grants seem to target those areas. And as a result, we, during those 2 days of about party with Bear Park, about 50,000 people coming through that venue, we get a chance to meet and or exceed the numbers that we're tasked with in a lot of these grants. And so I just want to thank the court and the community for continuing to support with what is a community event, and it's free admission.
Well, and I want to thank you for making it an enrollment event along with the health fair that it's always been. Zach said something, 6 months ago. We were in a little church. We were in Truly Missionary Baptist Church. And we were speaking to the church, and Zach said something that stuck with me through this whole enrollment process. He said, you know, people will sit down for a family barbecue or they'll get together and they'll say, what did Uncle Jack die of? Folks want to know. What did Mama die of? Well, she went to Parkinson's, was sick, and she died. Because when people don't have insurance, they don't know what their medical history is. And we've got a chance in Dallas County now to truly get affordable insurance for people who've been shut out of that process having insurance, never had a chance to have insurance before. So at Kwanzaa Fest, at Concord Church, at Friendship, at 12 different Catholic churches, 2 synagogues, at numerous places this weekend, they're going to do these events. These opportunities for people to sit down with these certified application counselors. You don't have to sit down with them. You can go on a website if you want to, because the website actually works, praise the Lord now. But, you know, it's really a tremendous opportunity for our community. And it's a great opportunity for our taxpayers, because when these folks who don't have insurance get insurance, it's not only better for their lives and their families, it's better for all of us who pay taxes to Park. So I want to thank you, Commissioner Price, for your work on that, because that's 50,000 people. That's the largest. Kwanzaa Fest is the largest health fair by far in Dallas County each year. And so the people who benefit most from the Affordable Care Act, many of those people will have an opportunity to learn more about that at Kwanzaa Fest. So thanks for your work on that. Thanks for having it this year.
It's already being put in broadcast on all our employees, so they can, because I haven't got it invitation usually until that. So Mr.
That broadcast is an invitation. I'm heading out there. And you got fans.
Theater, right? Yeah.
Tell them about the fun stuff. It's not just about healthcare. We got fun stuff too. Well, not that healthcare is not fun. Bands.
You know, if
booze, you can get some.
healthcare gets you very good.
We got a kids zone. We got a kids zone with some jump houses, and we got a big slide thing. It's a lot of fun stuff.
Well, you gotta, we have for the kids probably in the Kids Fest area. It's sponsored by the Black McDonald Owners Association. There'll be over 500 gifts, but they're not able to just come and just get the gifts. They're going to have to deal with math, spelling. So there is a contest, and we'll recognize a person there with cap and gown on that has a quiz. So you get a chance to be eligible for prizes.
Don't let that dissuade you, kids. Remember, gifts.
But on the on the adult side as well. In other words, as you said, we incentivize. We know what it takes. We do 30,000 screens a year. But people don't just come in. You come in, you get a passport, and you're going to have to go to at least 4 screens to be able to get your passport validated. Whether it's the STI Collaborative, whether it's getting sealed on the teeth for your young people, whether it's a mammogram, you go and take your passport. And then once you do that, then you become eligible at the Prize Center for everything from laptop computers to televisions. So we incentivize people to take care of themselves. And so that's all part of it. It's called a passport. So it's all part of it. Come on out.
I would like to take just a moment in the county's responsibility in county health and safety to having lived through this past week with so many opportunities to drive on icy roads, to have lost electricity, to recognize that citizens in Dallas County had very particular needs due to inclement weather. I'd like to just recognize the number of people in Dallas County who really stepped up. Dad is sitting here in the back who made sure that we all had that continual weather knowledge so that we could at least do a little bit of planning or dissemination of information. But the number of people on the VHLT committee who worked together to find places for people who had lost their electricity, needed a warm place to stay. But the efforts of just a whole variety of people, the judge, if you're getting on the news, on TV, to encourage all of us to open up our homes to people who had lost electricity and needed just a warm spot to stay when it was, 20 degrees outside. That's chilly.
I called over to Island Park. He didn't come over to my house. I told him to come over to the
By everybody in the community.
To another hotel, they'll take you over.
I know everyone wants to see the house.
Yeah, right.
He's talking about the house in Highland Park, not his other.
Yeah, right.
But once again, it was county people, city people, just all kinds of folks getting together to make sure that Dallas County folks had a warm place to stay, even the good judge.
Yeah, the crews.
We stay inside after an
Yeah, road bridge crews, yeah.
Yeah, the Road and Bridge District crews, again, my guys went home and did Dr. Smith and her staff, we hunkered down on the juvenile. She and her staff, they all went home, came back. All the directors took a different institution, so they got their sleeping bags and they hunkered down in each one of the institutions where the young people were. On that morning, I checked with the Sheriff's Department with regards to the food service. And everybody showed up for work with the exception of 2 individuals, and all the food was delivered on time. Facilities, we had some challenges with some of the dorms and all, but we got it met. But more than anything, those Road and Bridge District crews stayed until Sunday morning. I think my guys finally went home at 3 o'clock in 4 shifts. And then I had to get out to DeSoto, and the mayor called, and so I had to call him back out. But DeSoto and a few places.
You guys can help our, put our trees.
Yeah, I just want to thank them as well, because as I said, we don't have. Yeah, thank you. Yeah, no problem. We behind the camera. But right up Wintergreen and all up and around Main Street in that area. And we're going to sit down and forge a little bit of plan because we're responsible for unincorporated, and as Commissioner Cantrell said, we're doing help of it, but we need to be able to have some of our cities, especially traverse some of those roads that are fairly treacherous.
And Mr. Thompson, I know we open also, we work with the Pleasant Grove Rec Center.
City of Dallas.
How many people did we finally
I've seen
have?
different numbers, but they one night they had over 10, so it was pretty consistent. But the fact I want to thank the City of Dallas for opening up their shelter. There was a number of people in Pleasant Grove, Southern South Dallas that didn't have electricity.
But you were there as well. So we thank the city, but we thank you and Dallas County for the team effort.
Yeah.
Let me thank some of our partners as well. Let me single out though Homeland Security and Emergency Management and the sheriff. I saw the cars out there helping scrape ice off people's windows, helping push people out of ditches, and y'all did a phenomenal job. When I asked people to open shelters, Zach jumped on the phone and he was instrumental in getting Dallas to open theirs. Grand Prairie also opened a shelter. Let's see, Red Cross, I think, had briefly a shelter in Salvation Army. And so I want to thank those partners for doing that. Dallas County Schools, DISD, TxDOT, and National Weather Service, and I'm going to leave somebody out here. But it was particularly those people for being on all the calls about weather and working so hard, taking the calls that were early and late. Daryl, being on those calls. The people who did let people into their house and did open up their homes, and the churches who opened up to let people into the churches. Also, I know some people got frustrated by this, but I was dealing with Encore probably every 20 minutes through this. And they're the men and women of Encore that really worked hard for you. I know it was frustrating to not have power, but they brought in crews from all over the country, and they were doing things that were pretty dangerous. And they did a good job. We were down to we had 270,000 without power, and within about 20 hours we knocked that down to 108,000. And it was a very difficult power situation. And I was right there with you because I was in a hotel for a time. But they deserve a lot of credit. They've gotten a lot of grief, but they really deserve a lot of credit because they really worked hard. Also, TxDOT. TxDOT has been under tremendous budget cuts, and they're stretched on their resources. But those are groups of people who worked 24/7. NTTA was able to clear their roads faster. And this goes back to budget. NTTA has adequate resources to do this, and TxDOT's resources were stretched. But all in all, I think all of our partners did a good job. National Weather Service got the forecast right, and everybody worked really hard. It is frustrating with the weather, but they worked really hard. Nobody took any time off, including the road and bridge crews.
But there's still people without power.
Still are.
And they're without power primarily because when those limbs fell and it took down the line, if it took a piece off the house, that is the homeowner's responsibility. And now you got to get an electrician out there. Now you got to come back and get it re-inspected, and then you got to get Encore. And in the South, we had a number of those return that tree. So we still have people out there without electricity as of this morning.
And if you have you're without electricity and you have a medical condition that requires electricity, please call 311 in Dallas or 211 in any other city to let us know that, or contact Encore. We're trying to prioritize people on CPAP, respirators, etc., to get their power back on if it is on your side of the property. All right. We will adjourn momentarily for our closed session. This is authorized by Chapter 551 of the Government Code, as previously posted. Any action as a result of the closed session will take place in the subsequent open session. In our closed session.